Want to become an elite level athlete? Well, look no further. The Reclaim Your Throne Elite D1 training course is all you need to take your performance from subpar to the creme de la creme of athletes all around the world. The purpose of this course is to give you a comprehensive weight training, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance program that is meant to prepare young athletes for collegiate and professional sports. This course is packed with over 2 hours of creative, action-packed lifts narrated and coached by yours truly to assure increased strength, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance. Hey, I get it. Training alone can be tough and can even make you feel misguided or somewhat unmotivated. But with this course, I walk you step by step through each and every lift to make sure you're using the proper form to prevent injuries and that you're hitting the correct muscle groups to render maximum results. So what are you waiting for? It's now or never. So go ahead and get the training course today so you too can reclaim your throne.
So guys, we have to break this one down. We are going to be talking about what makes a man, specifically a black man, corny, okay? And the people who are judging what is corny and what is not in the community are usually the women, all right? And they are determining who's corny, who's cool, you know, who is a intercourse symbol and whatnot. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to break down a series of videos. Then we're going to listen to a woman's take on what makes a man corny. So let's get into it.
So how do you deal with your anxiety?
A secular song.
That helps.
Yeah, it like calms me
but
down.
But it gotta be a little though.
Suck some or something.
Some? Like more than one?
It doesn't matter. I mean,
How much does it take to get your anxiety down?
3. I didn't do 3 at a time. I did it before. I felt actually pretty good after.
3 in the same hole?
Not
Talking about your mouth hair.
Oh, like 1 at a time, but it was like 3, right?
How do you hold 3
crazy.
with 2 hands?
Like this and this and that. And like, you just switch it and go like that. It's easy.
Bro.
You just switch it.
So how do you deal with your anxiety?
So you heard what she said. The way that she deals with her anxiety is to get a train ran on her. Okay. Unfortunately, like I told you guys, modern women, Gen Z women specifically, have the digital footprint of an adult film actress. And this type of stuff is happening more often than not, guys. If you use the body count formula, you will be able to understand, you know, based off of the woman's age and her level of promiscuity, where her body count probably lies. Okay. You kind of have to break it down annually. You can even break it down periodically if you're looking for like a short-term body count formula. But the reality is you have a lot of chicks out here who have had experiences like this that you probably are going to wife up and you will never even know. That's the funny thing. You'll never know, bro. Especially in this OF generation, in the Instagram model generation. Like I told you guys before, any chick over 100K followers, she got provocative pictures on her Instagram, she is definitely selling the WAP. That's just how the game goes. So, I mean, it's not looking good when it comes to dating. And a lot of the corny guys are becoming passport bros, okay? A lot of the what they would call corny guys are becoming passport bros, and they're walking away, and all they're going to be left with are the Pookies and Ray Rays. And, you know, a lot of these dudes are getting locked up 100 miles per hour. So it's sad.
This is my son, Mozzie, and I'm currently trying to get us out the hood stink. This is my go-to song. I got an ass so big like the sun. I hope you got a mouth for a dick I want to run. Slap it in my face, shove it down my... This is my son, Mozzie, and I'm currently trying to get...
Wow. So that was, you know, very profane, very vulgar. And that's her song. She's singing in front of her child. As you can see, multiple red flags, chest tattoo. I mean, it's just an L, bro. Like, if you're trying to be the most feminine version of yourself, you really do not want to get tattoos. She's cursing in front of her child, which is a big L. I mean, this whole video is a red flag. I feel sorry for that child because that child's going to grow up traumatized. This is not language that this child should be hearing at this age. And a lot of these women are bad mothers, okay? A lot of them, you know, are having children at a very young age, whatnot, and they're playing music that is basically, you know, parental advisory with toddlers, with infants, and it's just not good for the child's mental health, as well as being close to all these screens and the screen in his face all the time. I mean, a lot of people are raising their kids on the iPad. That's a real thing. And man, this is why you have a lot of thuggos and them and Pookies and Ray Rays out here in the streets, because women like this, they're raising little demons, and they're doing very bad things around the child and bringing different men in and out of the house at a very young age. So, I mean, we praying for the kid, but unless CPS come and pick her up right now, because she should definitely get picked up on something. This is child abuse, neglect, something, bro. This is that's not good. So they really should, you know, take the child and give it to the father. I don't know where the father is doing. He might be worse though. A woman that's masculine, he might be worse. But hey, guys, this is what we have to choose from. I told you guys the baddest chicks are going to the Pookies and Ray Rays, bro, and that's just facts. And I mean, she is bad. I would definitely consider her bad, even though she has the cumbrellas on. I'll give her. I mean, honestly, even after having the kids, she's still looking right. Titties looking right. The problem is she got the tattoos on the chest, which is an L. You could never take her seriously. And the way that she's talking around that child, you could never take her seriously. I mean, even if a man was going to try and play big stepdaddy, like he would have to change so much about that woman. The fact that she thinks it's okay to speak like this with the child around, that's just a fundamental flaw in that woman's character. So she has fundamental flaws in her character that you would have to break down. Okay, so I mean, it's really that bad out here. Shout out to Austin Holloman.
He's a good man, Savannah. A good man. He's a good man, Savannah. A good man.
So you hear this woman, she says, me too, me, or me too, me, when I finally date a man with a office job instead of a man with 3 phones, an AP, 2 Cubans, and wads of cash. Okay, so she's saying that she was used to dating the trappers, and now she's dating, 9 to 5 Malcolms, mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men. And she's convincing herself that he's a good man and she should stay with him, even though she finds him boring. That's literally what she's saying. And this is why a lot of these women are failing, because they find the Malcolms, the mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men. They find the medium ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men to be boring. And that is why they continue to stay single and they continue to be in quote unquote toxic relationships. But the fact of the matter is they have plenty of guys who they probably could have secured a marriage from, but he was a Malcolm, okay, and they did not want him. So that brings us into the final discussion for today, and we're going to be talking about what makes a man, specifically a black man, corny. So guys, I just want to preface this discussion with how the Michael B. Jordan situation had panned out. I broke it down in my recent live, and it's very similar to what this woman is talking about. And I think this is probably why she made the video. As a matter of fact, she has Michael B. Jordan and Russell Wilson hashtagged in here. And the reason why Russell Wilson is corny is because he played Big Stepdaddy. And I already discussed before, it was a corny move by Michael B. Jordan to try and take Lori Harvey seriously. And I know people say that he might have done it for his image or whatnot, but I just don't think that it was a good move. to try and take her seriously after she had been ran through by all the dudes in the industry. Like her shit. I mean, I mean to curse, but her clout is really going down, especially after getting with Damson Idris. Like it just, I mean, he looks goofy. He looks happy to have her. Like it just doesn't look good at all.
Someone explain to me what makes a man corny. Like, I actually really want to know. Glorification of the bad boys, the F boys, or even the hood dudes is absolutely ridiculous. I thought we left that back in like our early 20s.
I thought we left that back in our early 20s. So that just shows you, it just goes to show, for one, that a lot of sisters, a lot of black women are immature and they're still trying to look for those types of guys in their mid to late 30s. And that also goes to show you that, yes, she was dealing with those hood dudes as well. The reality is, I mean, she's got double D, probably, you know, E cup boobs, and, you know, she's pretty attractive. So she had her pick of the litter when it comes to black men. And who did she probably give it up to? The Pookies and Ray Ray. So she had already been through it. I don't know if she's married. I don't know her situation, but it just goes to show that the nice guys really do finish last. And at the end of the day, you don't want to finish on these, bro. Just try and get the 20 something, the young 20s when they're young, because I'm telling you right now, in this day and age, by the time they 26, 30, it's OV, straight ran through.
Not now at our big age that you'll still be interested in guys like that. What exactly is corny about a Michael B. Jordan or a Russell Wilson? These are nice guys that seem to treat women well. They seem to have great character.
And that's the problem. A lot of these modern women do not want nice guys that seem to treat women well and have great character. They don't like rules, bro. And these men have rules of engagement. They have rules to life. They live very disciplined life. Russell Wilson, he has a very disciplined diet. And a lot of women wouldn't be down for that. They wouldn't be down for a guy who, can't eat carbs all throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them won't. A lot of them really won't. And they'll say, oh, red flag, da, da, da. Oh, he got rules. Oh, he doesn't want me to go out. Oh, he doesn't want me to go on girls trips. Oh, red flag, da, 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 insecure, whatever. And, oh, he doesn't want me getting the OF, posting booty pics, having the digital footprint of an adult film actress. So he's insecure and he's a red flag. But good men do not, whatever you want to call it, good men don't respect women who are in intercourse work, okay? They don't. Like, as far as a profession, like, yeah, we respect you as a person, okay? You're an individual. But as far as, like, getting any type of respect on a, just on a, okay, we respect your profession level, it doesn't, and a relationship standpoint, like, no, you're not getting cuffed. It's OV, okay?
What makes a man corny? Like, I actually really want to know. Glorification of the bad boys, the F boys, or even the hood dudes is absolutely ridiculous. I thought we left that back in like our early 20s. Not now at our big age that you'll still be interested in guys like that. What exactly is corny about a Michael B. Jordan or a Russell Wilson? These are nice guys that seem to treat women well. They seem to have great character, that are also successful, that have great physique. They look good. What exactly is the corny? If that's the case, then I love corny men.
See, disciplined men are corny to these women. Guys who go to the gym, oh, gym bros. You see a lot of women making fun of gym bros now, and it's just like, y'all making no sense, okay? Because we're not glorifying being sloppy and having the sloppy physique.
Send all the corny men to me. We want them. Okay, we'll go and be corny together. We can go and eat the corn. We'll plant the corn. We'll pop the corn. You get a corn. He get a corn. Everybody gets a corn. We'll even have corn babies too. Nonsense. Can someone explain?
So you heard what she said, and I like her take. I like her sense of humor. She's very attractive. I would say, I mean, with those tits, honestly, she's definitely an 8. I mean, the makeup is extra. She's an 8 with makeup. I'll say probably with no makeup, she's a 6. Looks like she keeps her physique in good shape. She definitely has a nice ratio. So, I mean, I'm rocking with what she's saying. You know what I'm saying? She is putting respect on the Malcolm's names, the mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men. She's putting respect on the medium ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men. And, that's great. I just wish that maybe her message would get pushed to more of the community, but it's not going to happen. They're going to continue to deal with Pookie and Ray Ray. It is what it is. It's all set in stone. The programming is deeply ingrained, and there are no solutions to that until, well, Father Time is the solution to that, right? Their age, but by then they hit the wall. And I do not advise you Malcolms out there to, you know, save them when they're throwing a Hail Mary, bro. Let it fall to the ground. You might even want to do a Richard Sherman and bat it down. But definitely do not try and cuff these women after, you know, they done did all their fun. They don't have their fun, and that whole narrative. Do not do it, bro. So just become a passport, bro. Just become SYSVM. Just become MGTO dub. Just become free agent lifestyle. Whatever you got to do, bro. But make sure you do not fall for the trap, the age-old trap that a lot of these chicks, and it's not just sisters, but specifically in the community, it is sisters who are dealing with the Pookies and Ray Rays. Make sure that you are not becoming the guy who plays cleanup man. So anyways, you already know what it is, man. It's your boy, Reclaim Your Throne. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Send your relationship question to the email down below with a screenshot of your Cash App, so I know you pay on ties, man. Y'all need to be on your mark freaking with the BS. You already know. Reclaim Your Throne.
Want to become an elite level athlete? Well, look no further. The Reclaim Your Throne Elite D1 training course is all you need to take your performance from subpar to the creme de la creme of athletes all around the world. The purpose of this course is to give you a comprehensive weight training, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance program that is meant to prepare young athletes for collegiate and professional sports. This course is packed with over 2 hours of creative, action-packed lifts narrated and coached by yours truly to assure increased strength, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance. Hey, I get it. Training alone can be tough and can even make you feel misguided or somewhat unmotivated. But with this course, I walk you step by step through each and every lift to make sure you're using the proper form to prevent injuries and that you're hitting the correct muscle groups to render maximum results. So what are you waiting for? It's now or never. So go ahead and get the training course today so you too can reclaim your.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy, Reclaim Your Throne, coming at you with another crazy video. But first, my goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. And you already know, Reclaim Your Throne. So guys, we're going to get right into it. I saw this episode of Fresh and Fit. Honestly, it was a shit show. You had the women acting a fool, and they were actually having a good, productive conversation. Now, I played that video in the beginning about what makes a black man corny for a specific reason, okay? I played this video because you have a whole lot of women who are dealing with the Pookies and Ray Rays, okay? Like, a lot. And they want to blame it on the lack of financially attractive men, whatnot, but we can't deny that there is a preference thing going on. Okay. There have been so many stories of very successful, very accomplished sisters dealing with the likes of, the super gremlins. Okay. The guys who are outside in the streets banging and doing all this nonsense. When there are plenty of brothers who are on their level, they want to say, oh, there's not enough black men on my level. I mean, when you get to a high level like that, there's only going to be a couple, because the black men could say the same thing, to black women. Oh, well, there's not that many black women on my level, so I just had to date IR. No, that's not the excuse that we use. Okay. The issue is that you have a lot of these sisters who really do have a preference for the street. I cannot tell you guys how many stories I do on my other channel, Black Gen Z Mindset, aka BGZM News 17, aka Janquavius Jackson, where we break down stories from the black community of sisters just dating guys who have rap sheets that are insane. And I get it. Second chances. I could take one charge. You know what I'm saying? I could understand the man had one charge. He hasn't, recidivated in the last 5 years, give them a 5-year probationary. And then, okay, yeah, this is a guy that you could probably take seriously. He's kept the job, whatever. But a lot of y'all just ain't doing y'all research. And this is what brings me to my next point. This makes you unattractive for the next man, the good guy, the Malcolms, as I call it, the medium, ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men, the massively attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men, and the mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men. Okay? They're not leaving room for these guys. They're not. We've gotten a lot of data back. Man, we've gotten a lot of data back about what's going on in the dating market. Sorry, I should have had these links pulled up. But we got a number that came back that said 6 out of 10 young men are single. The disturbing reason why. Okay. And people are saying, thanks to corn. Thanks to corn, 6 out of 10 young men are single. Yeah, that is a factor, but that's not the reason. That's not the reason. And among the most single are Black men. Among the most single are Black men. Now, we all know that a lot of these Black men are what a lot of Black women say, single by choice, because we're having it out here. A lot of us are. I mean, that's just the reality. If you're a brother and you keep in shape and you're young, my age, 27, 28 or younger, between the ages of 18 and, I mean, really, it's only going up from here, honestly. If you got something going for yourself as a brother, you're pretty much winning. You're having out here, okay? But if you are not focused, if you're not disciplined, if you are not making money, and you are one of those Malcolms, okay, and you haven't gotten the lucrative part down yet, you're one of those Malcolms who you're not really attractive, okay? You're not in the best shape. You don't really look good. You don't really have any drive or purpose. You haven't thug maxed, as we call it. You have not thug maxed, so you can't play that street card. If you're in that limbo area, then that's probably why you are single, and you're a part of that 30% of young men who haven't had intercourse within the last year or are virgins. Okay, you're probably in that demographic. And that's a really tough demographic to be in. So they're bringing this data from the Pew Research Center, and they're blaming corn. Okay, now you can't blame corn without the corn stars. And yes, there have been a lot of corn stars that have come out. All right, and they're showing their behinds, and they're not even professional corn stars. They are women who are jumping straight out of high school going to OF. I cannot tell you how many, the supply of new girls is absolutely, it's endless, and it's never going to stop. This can of worms has been opened, and it won't be closed. And you know what? So be it. What this has done really has showed a lot of men what's really out there. And it has extremely expressed the variety aspect of a saying that I like to say, which is sexual access and sexual variety is essential to a man's mental health. So we have so many different factors going on in these situations. You can't just blame it on corn, but that's what they're doing. I don't know what the hell is playing. 6 out of 10 young men are single. The disturbing reason why. So they're trying to blame corn. It says, thank corn for 6 out of 10 young men for being single. Yeah, not so fast. Not so fast, because we have to talk about what's going on with the women. Okay, I'm freezing up. Are we good? Okay, yeah, we have to talk about what's going on with the women, bro. They want to blame corn. That's not it, bro. A lot of the options are depleted. So you have 6 out of 10 young men who are quote unquote single. All right. And then a third of those men, or a third of all men rather, between the ages of 18 and 30 are virgins or haven't had intercourse within the last year. Okay. That's the reality. That's the reality. So a lot of these guys are what you would call unattractive for sure. But then there are a lot of men who are choosing to stay single. And then there's another portion of these men who are being shared by the women. Okay. It says they're not getting jerked around by dating anymore. Yep. That's the reality. They're not getting jerked around by dating. That is true. New Pew Research Center data has found that nowadays 63% of men under 30 are electively single, up from 51% in 2019, and experts blame erotic alone time online as a major culprit. All right. Young men are watching a lot of social media. They're watching a lot of porn, and I think they're getting a lot of their needs met without having to go out. Psychologist Fred Rabinowitz told The Hill. And this is what I'm going to tell you. Like I said, the reason why guys are watching a lot of porn is because sexual access and sexual variety is essential to a man's mental health. Point blank. And now that this can of worms has opened up, and you have men who are able to have access to that sexual variety, even if it's virtual, men are going to take advantage of that. I mean, you have girls who are at your school who are getting on OF, and men are like, hey, I want to see what she looks like. And, you know, maybe I don't have a chance with her, or maybe I'm not even going to press up on her. So I want to see what she looks like without even having to speak to her. So men are exercising that sexual access part of our biological nature. Okay. And that is so pivotal to why we see the shift in not only are men not getting jerked around by dating anymore, and dating who? Dating women. Dating women. I'm going to tell you what, I mean, you know, shout out to the LGBT community. They are not getting jerked around by dating. Okay? They're not. They fucking, like, because men are straight up. And I'm going to tell you that right now. So these guys are straightforward. They're telling you what they want. And if these are individuals who are attracted to each other, it's going down, bro. The thing about women is that even if they're attracted to the guy, they're going to jerk him around a little bit. Some they won't, but a lot of them they will, especially if the guy, I mean, it really just depends on the attraction level, because you'll have some girls who are going to go off rip, and then you'll have some girls who are just going to play around the whole time. They're not going to link. They're going to flake, whatever. You're setting up dates. You're applying pressure, and they're just playing with your time. And they're doing that on purpose. Like, don't ever let them think that, you know, they're not doing it on purpose, because that couldn't be further from the truth. But yeah, we have this number. 63% of men under 30 are electively single. And let me tell you, in electively single, let me tell you what I think. Not claiming them. Man, I don't know what they be doing to my streams, but it's a whole bunch of glitches in this motherfucker. But yeah, the men are not claiming them. So it says up from 51% in 2019, and experts blame erotic alone time. All right, so young men are watching a lot of social media. They're watching a lot of porn. All right, I read that part. Okay, now the chats are coming in. Dude, bro, YouTube is crazy. I haven't even been seeing y'all chats. Y'all know I show love to the chats, whether it's a super chat or not. You already know. The Duke says all the corny black men should date out immediately. Then we'll see the narrative change that fast. White girls never think black guys are corny. Yeah. the Duke says she's West African, raised in the Western world. That's how they think. Once they reach their late 20s, pressured by family to settle down. Yeah. Distant Light says, and it's demoralizing when you're in school for they for thugs. Yeah. Colossus says, issue is F corn is a deflection. EQ is deflection. Okay. Distant Lights says women love attention, free attention without intercourse. Yes, absolutely. The new post-COVID numbers would surely back up previous research that the pandemic has made men prefer an evening alone instead of actually meeting a partner. Okay, just half of single men as a whole responded that they are looking for a committed relationship and or casual dates, a decrease compared to 61% 4 years ago. So it says, here's the data: U.S. adults between 18 through 29 who say they are single. Okay, so you have in 2019, there were 51% of men who said they were single. And, 2019, there were 32% of women. Shit, I had to sneeze. Okay, so 2022, you have an increase. You have an increase by 12% in single men. And the reality is, guys, that men are not dealing with the BS anymore. We realize that it's not worth dating a lot of these women. And you see the steady number of women who say they're in a relationship. How much you want to bet half of those women are lying to themselves? They're sharing that man. They're sharing that man because the numbers don't make sense. The numbers don't make sense here in 2019, and they damn sure don't make sense in 2022. And the same steady amount of women are saying they're in a relationship. Dude, women think just because they're smashing a guy, they're in a relationship with him. It's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like when shorties be like, yo, I dated this guy. And no, you didn't date. He was fucking you. Y'all didn't date. He was fucking you. Yeah, he never claimed you, and you know that for a fact. And then she's like, oh yeah, I dated this guy. Dude, I'm sorry, but you did not date that man. Experts say young men would rather stay home and watch porn than go out and date. But these statistics tell a sadder truth about this generation of men. NYU psych professor Niobe Way told the outlet, we're in a crisis of connection, Way said. Disconnection from ourselves and disconnection from each other. And it's getting worse. The male numbers come sharply juxtaposed to the 34% of women under 30 who now say they're single, which has seen only a slight pandemic rise in that age group. Another factor at play might be the interest of women changing, especially as suitors of the same age are becoming apparently less desirable, experts say. Yeah, so they're dating older men. Notice how they said, oh, another factor at play might be the interest of women changing, especially as suitors of the same age are becoming apparently less desirable. So what if we flip that and said, oh, well, men aren't interested in women their age, so they're dating younger women, and it's harder to date younger women. As far as like the procuring aspect, But now you have young women who are straight open with dating younger men or older men. And these men are especially older. Okay, like 10 years, 15 years plus. They're sharing a lot of men. A lot of these women are sharing men. They're in relationships with dudes that they think they're in relationships with, and they're just a sneaky link or they're just a situationship. A lot of these women do be lying. I'm going to tell you that right now, because you ask a dude and he's like, who? he could be fucking her. He still don't even know who she is. It says women would rather go to brunch with friends than have a horrible date. LA couples and family psychologist Greg Matos said. U.S. adults who say they are single. So it says overall 32% of men say they're single, 28% of women, ages 18 through 29, which is our age demographic, as in like me in the chat, I'm assuming. So you have 63% of men and 34% of women. Ages 30 through 49, you see a massive decrease in the men who couple up, or who report that they're single, and also in the women. And then you see in the later ages, the women are starting to be more single. So that's that age range, because, you know, a lot of their husbands die off. It's hard to get another man, whatever, which we understand. But then some of them were and are going to perpetually be single. Like this age demographic of 18 through 19, I predict we're going to see a really steep peak in the amount of women who are going to end up being single later in age, because this is understandable, this 40% number, 39%, but 40% to round it up. This is very understandable because you have women who are widows and whatnot. But in this 18 through 29 age demographic, a lot of these 34% of women who say that they're single, a lot of these women are just sharing them in. Okay, they're sharing them in. The expectations of American men are also rising in the minds of women, according to masculinity expert and University of Akron Professor Ronald Levant, who added that unfortunately so many men don't have more to give, but perhaps the largest issue now with young men, one highly impacting their social abilities, is that they are, as a whole, more lonely people than women. A recent study showed in the early 1990s, 55% of men were reported to have 6 or more close friends. That percentage dwindled down to 27 in 2021. According to the American Perspective survey, now 15% of men say they have no close personal friendships, data compiled by the Survey Center on American Life found. Women form friendships with each other with each other that are emotionally intimate, whereas men do not, said Levant. Even while not dating, women have girlfriends they spend time with and gain emotional support from. Yeah, and sometimes these girlfriends be boosting their head up, but that's another topic and discussion for another day. But, you know, men, this totally debunks another video that I did where a lot of black women were saying, oh, well, black men are emotionally attracted to their friends, but they're only sexually attracted to women, but they're emotionally attracted to their friends. That's because you're probably dating like cold-hearted thugs. I mean, you know, guys who don't wear horizontal striped shirts like me, you know? So, I mean, that's what I'm predicting now, because this statement and the conclusions coming from Professor Levant from the Pew Research that he analyzed shows otherwise, that men are not emotionally intimate or emotionally invested in their friends. I mean, if you know, we love our friends and whatnot, but if that nigga, you know, do some shicey shit, I'm gonna cut that nigga off straight up. So whereas women, they'll try him in the relationship, whatever. A snake is a snake is a snake. All right. Just like you see a lot of YSL niggas, you know, getting rid of Gunna. It is what it is. That's the game. So I gotta blow my nose real quick. We're gonna go to a brief intermission, and then we're gonna get into the reaction. All right.
Any black man who is with a woman who's not an African herself is going to have a difficult time getting respect from me. I believe black men need to be with black women. The black family is under attack. Only 1 out of every 4 black women gets married. The black woman is last likely to get married. She's the last married, the first divorced. We have what? 2/3 of our children being raised by working class and impoverished single black female-led households. The destruction of a nation begins in the home of its families. And if we want to save black people, we have to save the black family. And in order to do that, black men have to commit themselves to black women.
All right, so we heard Dr. Umar so eloquently lay out the numbers. He laid out the numbers. He said black women are the least to get married, okay, the last to get married. 2/3 of black children are being born out of wedlock and in single mother households, okay? These are not good statistics, okay? These are not good statistics, bro. It's not. All right. It's not good data. This isn't something to run home to or run home about. You know, we have some things in the community that need correcting. And I oftentimes like to correct it with love, but people don't take it as such. Okay? People don't take it as such. Anytime you speak on a specific demographic, there is insults like you hate yourself, whatever. I mean, honestly, I'm used to it. But in this discussion that they had on Fresh and Fit, here's what I'll say. A lot of the women on the show showed they ass, okay? But I do think that they could have used another black man in there who actually does have a preference for black women and actually want to see them correct some of the behavior that they exemplify on a daily basis. All right. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Myron and Fresh don't have a preference for black women, they really don't have a stake in the conversation. You see what I'm saying? So I think, I mean, Sneeko, I have seen him like date a chocolate sister, but you know, is that his preference? Probably not. Okay. So I really would have liked to see, I mean, I know they fell out with Allende, and Allende was having his own problems with the LGBT community and stuff like that, right? But when they had that episode, I think that was, oh man, I mean, I miss those days. I really wish that their relationship did not, you know, devolve into what it did, because I think Allende really brought a good perspective on that episode. And maybe we'll go back to that episode if they haven't taken it down and do a reaction to that one, because it was fire. Now, is Allende like a real authentic alpha? I mean, he's smashing it, allegedly. I mean, he's participating in LGBT parades or whatnot, or I mean, it's just not a good look. And I'm not trying to, you know, put him out there, but he has good content either way. I'm not gonna, you know, discount him. I mean, just because you fucked a few guys, right? You can still teach about getting women, I guess. Nah, I mean, it makes him very inauthentic, honestly, if he has participated in homosexual activity. But at the end of the day, that doesn't negate the fact that he does have a good perspective. So, you know, it is what it is. You still have to hear the gay niggas out, okay, or the bisexual niggas out. But anyways, let's get into the conversation.
Okay. You got some bars?
I can something.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Drop that beat.
So this sister said that she was a rapper. I mean, we got a lot of trash rappers out here. Let's listen to the bars.
Don't drop no beat. I don't need a beat.
Okay, excuse me. Capella.
Yeah. Tiptoe, tread lightly. Yeah, ask gonna have to fight me. Come correct. Or I'm gonna be calling collect. The one thing I do not play by is my motherfucking respect. What the fuck? I mean, direct. It ain't for me if it ain't direct. Hey.
Yeah. I don't know what you said.
That shit was trash. That shit was horrible. That was a fail.
It's a lot.
Do you
It's gonna be out on March 11th.
One more time.
Hey,
One more
I'll say
time.
it slow.
Yeah, say it slower.
Tiptoe, tread lightly. Your ass will have to fight me. Come correct, or I'm gonna be calling collect. Cause the one thing I do not play by is my motherfucking respect. I'm hard as fuck. Ooh, I'm hard as fuck. I mean direct. It ain't for me if it ain't direct.
Yeah, you heard
He heard that.
Please.
There's only one.
Please. Nobody want to be there. Can I continue on her bar real quick?
Nope.
I wish I had another hand so I can give that 3 thumbs down. Holy.
What? He was a hater.
Okay.
Yeah, she was trash.
Hey, man. It is what it is.
We can fuck.
What's your highest education?
Some college.
All right, let's speed up to.
now at 21
Okay, this bitch was
Me?
tripping.
For real.
I know those are my boys. They brought me.
Hold on.
Yeah,
in a relationship, been in a relationship.
brought up the topic about why Asian men.
Right now,
All right.
I just came from working in the airport.
All right, so Sneeko's gonna bring up a topic it's going to be a discussion about sisters, black women. I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, I really think that they should have had a guy in there who does prefer black women and like who like actively is dating sisters. But you know, it was an interesting conversation until it just like went left. Okay, so let's listen up.
Getting ready to go back. I'm trying to be a flight attendant. So right now I'm in Ball Harbor in the condominiums doing basically like hospitality. You say?
Oh shit.
Okay. So I'll just put hospitality in airport. And then you're gonna go back to the airport. You said you worked for them before?
Yeah, I was at MIA for 2 years.
Okay. And then what's your highest education level completed?
Some college. I'm actually going back to school to be a full specialist, which is a nail tech and skin therapy.
Okay. So high school is the highest completed. And then what's your relationship status?
I am in a relationship. Been in a relationship for 3 years.
Okay.
So she in a relationship for 3 years. Okay, so shout out to this sister. Hope she keep her mans. Okay. Probably dealing with a Malcolm, a mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man, because she is, I mean, she's mid. She's mid. So that is what she deserves. And this is the issue. A lot of women are not willing to settle for what they deserve. She's mid. She deserves mid. And that's okay. She has a really nice body. Okay. Really nice body, but the face is giving, you know, great auntie vibes. Okay. So, I mean, that's just the game. And I support the fact that she is dealing with a Malcolm.
Oh, nice.
Cool. All right.
Hey, Sneeko. Last but not least. Oh, some dude. Take us away, man. Some dude on it. They got this canceled. Go ahead. Some dude.
Yeah, I like to listen before I speak and think before I talk. And I'm educating. And they talk about my past and they hate on me. But social media doesn't define who I am because I have a lot of jobs and I was a babysitter.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, you had to stop.
But rumble.com/Sneeko, you know, yeah, Sneeko. What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome back. Cool. I have a question that I think would be great for this panel.
Okay,
Sure, go
let's
ahead.
do it.
He has a question that they okay, so listen up. You have, I think you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black women on the panel. Okay. 6 black women on the panel. Obviously, Sneeko is mixed race. You got Fresh, who's black, and then you got Myron, who is African American, Sudanese. This one's gonna get heated, guys. So let's buckle up.
Okay.
We're gonna start here and then work our way this way.
All right.
Take it away.
So if you look at the statistics of dating apps and you're on dating apps, we're on dating apps, Instagram's a dating app.
All right. So he's bringing up the dating app data. Okay. Let's see. So he's bringing up the data. I just kind of want to give you guys a reference to the graphics that they're speaking about. Let's see. I think they've actually got the data updated for 2023. Okay. They got the data upgraded for 2023. So I'm going to have to look through this before I really talk on it, but let's get into it.
The men and women who are swiped the least on Tinder are Asian men and black women. And we have a lot.
Yeah, so I'm glad, you know, he did mention the men too, because you can't say anything about the women unless you say something about the men as well.
Black women on this panel. I'm curious as to why you think that black women are the least desirable demographic for women. I think I understand why Asian men are. Maybe you could ask me afterwards, but I want your opinion on why you think that is. Why are black women the least swiped demographic for women on dating apps?
Are you Asian?
First of
Yeah,
all,
half Asian.
Okay. I was just about to ask you that
And he's
too.
black too.
You Asian?
I hope
Are
it
you
counts.
actually Asian and black?
right?
Hey, why are you thinking about that already?
Because you the one brought up the
'Cause you should
topic
be.
about why Asian
Why
men are least
Asian
swiped
men
on.
are least
I
swiped.
can
You
tell
did
you
that.
one.
You did that.
Well, trust me, you'll get your take on it. We'll start here and then work our way this way. Go ahead. Why do you think black women are the least swiped right on dating apps, and why do you think on the other side Asian men are the least swiped right on dating apps? Right, that's the question, Sneeko.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, we can speak for black women. They could ask me afterwards because I can speak for Asian men.
Okay. All right, then. So why are black
Yeah.
women in your opinion?
So yeah, basically I can only, like you said, speak for black women. In my opinion, I would just say, it's always a stigma that black women are loud, rowdy, just unnecessary like negativity. It's like always a double standard. It's like, oh, as a woman, I can't do this, but a man can do it. So it's just like,
okay, so is it a double standard, or is it just having a preference for feminine women? I think that is a disconnect that's going on. You know, you really do have a lot of sisters who are very masculine. It's not all. Obviously, I already told you guys, you can definitely find an earthy girl. Okay. You can find an earthy girl who is in her feminine, who's, into, I guess, stars and different stones and all this type of different minerals and crystals and all that kind of stuff. You can find a real earthy girl like that. But, when I go out, man, you're going to get a lot of masculinity, unfortunately. All right. So we want to say it's a stigma, but if the chat wants to throw out some numbers on how many sisters you think are living in their masculine, I wonder what those numbers would be. And I think they pretty much correlate to the weight as well. Okay. I really do. I think the heavier set some of these sisters are, and it's not just sisters, it's all women in general. But specifically when we're talking about sisters, I think the heavier set they are, it really does make them more masculine, because then they're getting their cheeks clapped by some pookie, right? But they're not getting the type of attention that they really want. Like a lot of the guys that they're gonna be able to convince to smash them are gonna be dudes who are pretty much brain dead, or on like heavy drugs. I mean, I rarely see fat women, respectfully, I rarely see like a big bitch with a very competent man in the community. Okay, it happens, yes, but it's very rare.
it's basically that, like a lot of the stigmas. So it's like, it just depends on the person. I feel like it doesn't necessarily depend on your skin color. I feel like that's like an ignorant way of thinking. If you feel like, oh, I'm gonna just off first impression just be like, oh yeah, I don't like you because you're black, or I feel like because you're black, I'm gonna assume you're like this.
Why do you think that stigma exists?
Social media. I feel like social media is the main factor. A lot of these people growing up in the younger generations, they don't know how to separate reality from fantasy. That's the main issue. Like you see these rappers on TV, you automatically
Hey, y'all can join the stream too.
assume all the chains, all the jewelry, they balling, like, and it's not even like that, man. These people be having starter packs, the get rich starter packs. That's really
Well, it's not rappers.
I mean, that is true, but she's switching the conversation. We're talking about the sisters here, okay? We're talking about the sisters. I mean, man, it's a very difficult topic because it really is difficult on both sides. Like I said, it's difficult for black men to find black women who, are going to play that feminine role and not be on no city girl stuff. And then it's just as hard for black women to, well, I'm not going to say it's just as hard, but it's hard for them to check all their boxes, right? With black men. Like, there's plenty of guys who don't check those physical boxes, but check those financial and provider and protector boxes, but they may not have swag, or they may not, talk like a hood Atlanta nigga, because even the way that you speak, you really are getting judged by the sisters. Like if you're a black man and you really speak eloquently, a lot of them like to say, oh, well, my intelligence challenges men. My intelligence challenges these men. But in reality, I think when they get toe to toe with a brother who know what he's talking about, and he's like not ugly, you know what I'm saying? Like he's in shape, he's taking care of himself. Like he's not just some fat dude who can't fuck. When they get challenged by a brother like that, it really intimidates them. And I know they like to use that word on the men and say, oh, well, the men are intimidated. No, baby, you're just dealing with men who are, you know, below your caliber. Okay. There are a lot of examples of very competent, high earning women who are dating hood dudes, even in the celebrity world and even in the real world. Okay. I mean, I do stories on it all the time on my other channel, but this is a real thing. Okay. There was actually a woman not too far from where I stay in Atlanta, this high earning attorney who was dating a Pookie, and he ended up deleting her and got in a shootout with the police and deleted himself. So like, how are you a black female attorney dealing with a guy like that when there are plenty of black professionals in Atlanta? Yes, you may have to share those men. And that's the thing that a lot of these, but the thing is, you're sharing the Pookie too. You're sharing the hood nigga too, but you think you have power over him because you make more money than him and he got to stay at your house. That's not how it works. Maybe if you were in high school, but I mean, and even in high school in the community, these young men are capable of extreme violence, especially when it comes to domestic situations. So for you to be dealing with a guy who is flashing his gun and doing all this rah-rah stuff on social media is endangering your life. But a lot of these women are attracted to it. You cannot deny that.
This is black women specifically.
Yeah,
Black men don't have a problem really on dating apps.
It's an example.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah, so according to the data, black men are the second most desired under white men. So let's keep going.
example. That's
Okay, but
the,
why black women specifically?
I can't wait till y'all get to me.
What's the negative stigma around that?
I just said loud and rowdy.
And do you think that stigma is justified or completely faltered on social media?
I feel like it just depends on the person. You can't just classify a whole group of people into one. You can't speak for all black women. Not all black women are loud, rowdy. Not all black women are ghetto. So it just depends on. It's some very highly successful and like intelligent black women out here.
Yeah, and that's where I gotta stop it there. There are, man. There really are. There are a lot of, just like there, I mean, you could say there are a lot of everything about everybody, right? Every demographic. You could say, oh, there are a lot of transgenders, and there are, but there really aren't. Okay. So it's the same thing. Yeah. Oh, there are a lot of, very successful professional black women out there. There really are, but it's still statistically insignificant. It's still an outlier. Okay. There are a lot, especially what we can see on social media, but let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bean. Compared to all black women, there really aren't that much. Okay. There really aren't. High earning black women. Let's look it up. Let's say how many black women in America, because there's not even that many people in general making over six figures. So, I mean, to narrow that down, it really gets tough for black men and black women. America are making six figures. All right, let's get it. Okay, let me get some actual data. All right, so this is from a study from October 2022. So this is a wage gap article, and they're speaking about, okay, so this is some good data here, and this is, let's see, this was compiled by the National Partnership for Women and Families, and this is a fact sheet, and this is coming out of Washington. So let's see. Let's look at the data really quickly. And they're talking about the wage gap, and we know, the wage gap has been debunked. But if we want to talk about a wage gap specifically in the black community, I think that can easily be explained, honestly. Black women in the wage gap, okay? Conversations around the wage gap tend to over-focus on the numbers while ignoring the causes. But these numbers are more than facts and figures. They represent the tangible consequences of sexism and white supremacy. So they're going the sexism and white supremacy route, okay? Even though we know that, a lot of people are looking to hire more diversely in the United States, and how our court systematically devalues women of color in their labor. While racism and sexism are often thought of as individual biases, history shows us that systematic discrimination in pay and exploitation of workers based on race, class, gender, and immigration status can be traced all the way back to this country's horrific past of enslaving Africans and their descendants, colonial attempts to destroy Native communities, and immigration policies from the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 and the Immigration Act of 1924 to the Bracero program of the 1940s, 1960s to the Trump administration Muslim ban. So, I mean, it's a whole bunch of like leftist dogma in here, but let's get into the numbers. Today, this means that Black women in the United States are typically paid just 64 cents for every dollar paid to white non-Hispanic men. Okay, so let's talk about that 64% number. I mean, that's pretty much easily explainable. Let's keep it a buck. A lot of y'all got kids. A lot of y'all got to take time off. I mean, that's just the reality. A lot of y'all have kids doing it the single mother way, and a lot of y'all have to take time off. Okay? So, of course, you're not going to get paid as much. And I'm sure, some of these numbers are a little jaded as well and lacking context. Even when looking just at people working full-time year-round, okay? Full-time year-round, Black women are still only paid 67 cents for every dollar paid to white non-Hispanic men. So, I mean, and then, also white non-Hispanic men out-earn everybody, and they're the majority demographic in the state. So, I mean, you have to play that or factor that in as well. But 67 cents for every dollar paid to white non-Hispanic men. So they're really just comparing themselves to white men, which I don't think is really a fair comparison, because a lot of y'all are not doing the jobs that white men are doing. Let's just keep it a buck. They're comparing Black women to full-time working or white non-Hispanic men. Okay. It's not a fair comparison, because if you're comparing all full-time workers, y'all ain't doing the jobs that a lot of these white men are on these fucking on these power poles. Like, that's just the facts. I rarely see niggas up on that shit. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, I actually look at construction sites because I work in real estate. And when I'm going around, I'm driving around and I'm looking at these sites, bro, it's a lot of white dudes and a lot of Mexicans. And it's probably like 3 or 4 niggas sprinkled in there. I don't see Black women at all. Maybe on some like roadside construction holding a sign. I've seen it twice in my lifetime. And I've been, flipping houses for 3 years now. I mean, you are not going to find a lot of Black women in these blue collar jobs. Okay. And there are some like my sister, she worked blue collar jobs and she was a crane operator and but that does take a toll on a woman's body. It really does. And women are not built to do those jobs long term. So y'all aren't doing the same jobs that white men are doing. Y'all aren't doing the same jobs that Black men are doing, the Black men who are employed. Okay. It says, but that figure does not count more than 3.5 million Black women. The wages of Black women are driven down by a number of current factors, including gender and racial discrimination, workplace harassment, job segregation, and lack of workplace policies that support family caregiving. So I told you, they're blaming it on the workplace not paying for child care for their kids. It's ridiculous, bro. You know who you're supposed to have help with that? A man. And he should be bringing the brunt of the money or the income coming in. You work part-time and you're able to take care of your kids, or you don't work at all. Overall, women are typically paid 77 cents for every dollar paid to men. And this is including all working men and women. So obviously we know that data is going to be skewed because it's an aggregate of all working, dating men and women. And it's not, comparing the other factors that are going in, like these child care, the maternity leave. I mean, it's so many different factors when it goes into employing women. Like I had a woman, she had a kid, she worked for me, she had a kid, and then she just stopped working. I was like, ma'am, I had to fire her, bro. I had to fire her. Even in states with large populations of Black women in the workforce, rampant wage disparities persist. So, I mean, all this data is basically saying, hey, there aren't a lot of Black women who are earning that much over six figures. Let's see. So the median wages for Black women in these are just major cities. Let's just talk about Georgia, though. Median wages for Black women in Georgia is $37,000, and they're saying they want six figure this, six figure that. Dude, y'all making $37,000 talking about some six figures. In Cali, the median income is $50,000, and $50,000 in Cali is like $25,000. I'm trying to figure out how these women are continuing to ask for six figures when none of y'all are making like that much money, bro. I'm not going to say none, but a lot of y'all in these major cities and these major states rather are not making enough money to be asking for no damn, six figures. So they're basically displaying the data for the wage gap, and this is an annual wage gap. I mean, you can make an argument for both sides, and we can throw in the factors as to why they're paid less and this, that, and the third. But I mean, let's keep it a buck. Some of y'all do be cutting up on a job. I mean, I got so many videos where it's just like they just spazzing at work, and I mean, going crazy. There was this one story that I did where a woman spazzed on this guy at the Dunkin' Donuts. I think I did this on my Reclaim Your Throne. She working for Dunkin' Donuts, spazzing, and the other employees having to hold her back so she don't kill this man. I did a story where there was like sisters at the Denny's. They were like they had a like horrible food rating from the FDA or whatever. The inspectors, the food inspectors gave them a horrible food rating. It was like below 80 type stuff, and they were supposed to improve within the next year, 6 months, or they were going to get shut down. And when the camera crews came in, they spaz on them dudes. I mean, it's crazy. So there are so many different factors as to why they're getting paid less, and that's the reality. I mean, there's just so many. When you have a woman who got to call off of work like at least once every 2 weeks because her kids are acting up in school, I mean, it doesn't make for a healthy work environment, especially for your employer.
So I feel like it all depends on the group of people you hang around. So if you're that Black woman that hangs around people that ain't shit, you're going to grow up feeling like you don't want shit, you won't be shit. So I just feel like it all depends on the group of people you hang around, not necessarily like your skin tone. Yeah, that sometimes plays a part in it, but majority of it is like your personality and your intellect.
Okay. What about you?
I mean, she can't be a Black woman, can she?
But what? I'm curious about
I want to hear her opinion.
No one at the panel is going to attack you. Why do you think they get?
Yeah, I mean, she really. I mean, even Black women would say if this was like a social media gallery and everybody had their say and Black women had their say, she couldn't speak for Black women. So, I mean, Fresh was right in saying that, because a lot of Black women would say, oh, you can't speak for Black women because you are not a Black woman.
Swiped on the least on dating apps.
I can't speak for Black women. I'm going off what she said. I'm a Latina woman. I'm Uruguayan. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey around culture, and I kind of knew culture. Jersey's kind of similar to Miami, the culture. So what I recognize is like being on a dating app as well. I didn't swipe or say no to based on where your culture, your ethnic background, or where you came from. I'm very open-minded. I went on
What the fuck is she talking about, bro?
dates with Asian men. I went on dates with Black men. I'm telling you the question, okay? I'm getting to the point.
The question. That's not the answer to the question.
You asked can I tell you? Can I repeat it? Can I talk now?
Repeat it.
Do you know what the question is?
Yes, can I repeat it?
Yes.
Okay. You asked, why are Asian men swiped on dating apps?
No, we're talking
and
about the
why?
black women.
That's not the question.
And black women. And why are black women? I'm getting to the
Why are
point.
black women swiped on the lease? We'll get
Yes.
to Asian.
Okay. As I said, that's why I said I can't speak for black women. I can't speak for Asian men. I can speak for
What?
Latinas.
Are you an Asian man?
I just said I'm not.
So how can you speak for Asian men but not black
I
women?
just said I can't speak for both.
This is crazy.
Can you let her make her point?
This can't be real. This
Please.
can't be real right now. This is a joke, right?
Can I finish talking, please?
I'm not sure what your point is or where this is going.
I can't speak for you. I can speak for myself as a Latina woman and how I'm similar to her.
You said that, yeah.
Okay, can I finish?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So
We Latina women are seen as loud, obnoxious, ghetto, where I come from in the hood, newer.
I mean, nah, Latino women are more seen as spicy. Either you're gonna get a sexy, spicy mommy, or you're gonna get like a fat gordita crunch, like Square Bob type. So I mean, usually the Latino women submit to a certain type of man. So especially when they're dating Latino. So
I grew up around dangerous people. I can be ghetto, I could be loud, I could be fun, I could be obnoxious, but I could be classy and educated
what
as
does
well.
this have to do with women being swiped on Tinder? Like, this has nothing to do with the
Remind me of the
conversation.
question, Myron.
You're
The
just
black
answering
women,
questions
ma'am.
nobody asked.
The blacks now.
and this girl is on OnlyFans. This pink haired, whatever the fuck she got going on. I don't know how these hoes make him, bruh. It's crazy. Y'all niggas need to stop supporting these OnlyFans hoes because there's no reason why she should be like really having bread. There's no reason why she should be making money on OnlyFans, bro. She is not cute at all.
Yeah, it's not about you. Like, why do you think black women are the least swiped
Your
demographic?
personal
on Tinder?
opinions have nothing to do with the
think about that.
conversation.
You know, you can say pass.
Period.
It's okay.
You can say
That's
pass.
pretty much
You
it.
can,
Like,
you
you
can
can't
pass.
really. I feel
You
like
can't make her think about this. It's not her
Exactly.
struggle.
Yeah.
Well,
you
here's
can't-
the thing,
That
ladies,
would
you don't
be
have to
forcing her to-
experience a struggle to understand a struggle. So
She
No,
won't.
you-
She won't understand it.
It's not that hard to
Can I
you
tell
can
you why?
absolutely understand it because here's the thing.
No,
you
you
can,
cannot.
Everybody can't understand everything.
That's not what
No, if you don't look like a certain demographic, sometimes it's a little bit harder. That's just
To
like
understand,
biracial
just like-
couples. If you're dating outside your race, you're gonna feel like, okay, this person's not gonna always relate to me. Why? Because they don't look like me. They don't have the same struggles as me.
I mean, you can still have your opinion. I get what she's saying because for sure, like I can't relate to a white man's struggle. Okay. All right. Just like he can't relate to mine, but you can hear them out and maybe try and empathize with them. So, but it doesn't negate the fact that she still should be able to answer the question, hey, why do you think men are swiping less on black women than other races of women?
So it's just like
relate and understand. I think it's two different contexts.
Exactly. So she may understand.
Everybody
not
can't
being able to
understand
relate
everything.
to
Can we
being
just leave it at
me
that?
not being able to relate to being white. No, I can't relate to being Caucasian, but I can understand what it might be like in a.
Did this bitch just say Caucasian? Did she say Caucasian? I know she didn't just say Caucasian. Hold up. I gotta run it back.
So
we Latina women are seen as loud, obnoxious, ghetto, where I come from in the hood, fun.
Not
relate and understand. I think it's two different contexts.
Exactly. So she may understand.
Everybody
not
can't
being able to
understand
relate
everything.
to
Can we
being
just leave it
me
at that?
not being able to relate to being white. No, I can't relate to being Caucasian. But
She said Caucasian, bruh. That's crazy.
I can understand what it might be
Caucasian.
like in a day of a Caucasian woman.
And that's what I'm trying to say. You can understand someone without necessarily being in their shoes.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's called,
she
sympathy. But either way, my point is that can you please answer the question? The question is this, very simple. Why do you think African American women are swiped right the least, which means they're liked the least on dating apps? If you don't know, that's fine. We can move
I
on.
do know. So
Okay,
can I
go
tell
ahead.
you?
Please tell us in a concise answer.
I was born in Newark.
Why?
Stop bobbling her mind.
There's never a point where I question my mind. So let me speak, listen, is how
Okay.
I can educate you, how I listen to them.
Yo, shorty is skinny as fuck.
Let her speak.
Shorty skinny as a motherfucker too.
Yeah, let her speak. Everyone, let her speak.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I dated a black man. His
Oh,
mom.
God.
Personal experience.
I'm telling you why I understand.
That's not what we
I
asked.
think she was gonna go somewhere with that. You dated a black man and then what? Go ahead. I think I
Because
know.
we're
Singles.
not talking about black men.
Stop
I know
interrupting,
we're
ladies.
not. I know
Stop
we're not.
interrupting. Go ahead, finish your
Okay,
point.
what did he
You
say?
dated a black man and then what?
I understand. I dated a black man. Me as a Latina woman.
Yes.
I understand his struggle
Okay.
because I experienced discrimination as a Latina woman.
Talking
and
to the mic.
He experienced discrimination as a black man.
But did she experience discrimination from his mama? That's the real question we want to know.
And I experienced discrimination as a Latina woman. I don't have to explain myself fully. I'll get to the point like y'all want.
Oh shit.
Can we next?
She's wild.
Why do you think black women are the least right swiped demographic on dating apps?
Because
All right, so
people are ignorant.
Not you.
Me?
so now we have this sister here. I mean, she's decent. She's decent. I give her a 5. But I'll kind of dig into what I think about her. I mean, it's the weave. Oof. I mean, it just shows that you don't have that much hair. Like you can really tell because the weave starts kind of at the top of her hair. Y'all see how my hairline starts right here? I have a forehead, okay? I can fit 4 fingers on from my hairline to my eyebrow. Her shit is like up here, and then she's got like a lace front laid on top of it, no edges. It's like straight, bald edges. It's like, I mean, I don't know what she's been doing to her hair, what type of treatment she's been using, but Shorty looked like a carrot, bro. She looked like an expired carrot, bro. God dang. This shit is crazy.
Are we talking?
Oh, is that how you really feel?
Oh,
yeah, that's how I feel.
You should have just said that.
That's what I was trying to say, but nobody's letting me talk.
It's just
You
one
did
thing.
Yo, you know it's cool, right? When the guy's like, "Yeah, I know black people. I know the struggle. I know I have a
Because
black
people are
friend."
ignorant.
And I'm like, "What the fuck? I have a black friend. What does that mean?" Sorry, it was funny.
All right, so it's our turn now.
Damn. I got me crying.
Okay.
Whew. I completely agree with what she said with the stigma, because that angry black woman that nobody wants to deal with. And I honestly think that it can come from anywhere, because I've met
She got a falcon face. I mean, here's the thing. With a weave like that, or a wig, or whatever it is, with a wig like that, this is what I'll say. I highly doubt that she's very mild-mannered and meek and, reserved. She does speak well and all that kind of stuff. But with a wig like that, she done popped off on some bitches before. She done got into some fights. Like something went down. She just looked like a roughneck. You know what I'm saying?
certain black women that are like, damn, you kind of loud and mad. And then I've met certain black women that are like, oh, you cool.
And then she got a tattoo on her collarbone. Look, sisters, please chill with the tattoos. Please chill. Chill. Tattoos are for men. I'm gonna say this till the day I die. Tattoos are for men, not for women. Y'all gotta chill with the tattoos.
Cool as hell. So I do agree with what you said. You can't generalize. There's no way to.
That's what I'm trying to
Okay,
say.
what are the particular characteristics you think that get them to get swiped right the least?
Loud. Mind the quotations.
Okay. Loud. What else?
Loud.
Okay.
Angry.
Okay.
Stubborn.
Okay.
What's another one I've heard?
Ratchet.
Not submissive. Fresh said ratchet.
Ratchet.
Masculine. In quotes.
Masculine.
Come on, guys, let her answer,
Masculine,
man.
definitely.
Niggas is just throwing out. I mean, damn. I mean, I really want to have some sisters on. Do the sisters have it really that bad? Like, is it really that hard to date? I mean, from let them tell it, they having the time of their life. They getting what they want. They having.
What the fuck? Y'all just gonna say some shit
All
so
right.
she can agree.
Okay, fair enough. What about you? Why do you think
He said y'all just
black
want to
women
say
are the
some
least
shit.
desired race?
Okay, so shorty right here, she pretty bad. I mean, the first one, the one with the big titties and but with the auntie vibes face, I'll give her a 6 because the body looked like it was possibly giving. I didn't see her stomach or whatnot. The little weird Mexican or Latino woman, she's like a 3. That bitch anorexic. The sister right here, with the wig, the orange wig, the carrot top. You know, she's she's a little more attractive than the Latina, but she's like right around there. Probably give her a 4. She's below average looking. But this one right here, she does have a face full of makeup, but I would give her a solid 6 to 7 because she is definitely giving a Blasian vibe. So yeah, I think she's pretty bad
on dating apps.
From history, we spent a lot of time fighting for Black men, which made us masculine. And so now it's coming because of social media, it's becoming public. But
and I do like that take somewhat. In history, they did a lot of fighting for Black men, but let's keep it a buck, you know, respectfully. And I'm not trying to take away from any of like the female civil rights leaders, but Black men did the bulk of that. Okay. Black men were the ones who were dying. Okay. Black men like the Malcolm X's, even though he got killed by the same team. Black men like Martin Luther King Jr., okay, who was killed by the Memphis Police Department. Black men like Fred Hampton, all right, of the Black Panthers. I mean, these guys, he was killed by the FBI, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, these guys laid down their lives. So, you know, a lot of you women, y'all are saying this, that, and the third. And yes, women definitely died as well. I'm not discounting that. And were raped and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, let's really, really keep it a buck. Yes, families were torn apart, but who was living and I don't want to, they're going to hate it that I'm comparing, but men have always lived the worst existence of any type of situation. So even during slavery, yes, Black women had it hard. Black women had it harder than white women. They had it harder than white men. They had it harder than everybody else, but they didn't have it harder than Black men. Some did, but on a scale, nobody had it harder than Black men. So I do want to outline, because a lot of the women it's like they're trying to co-opt the civil rights movement and say, oh, we got our rights because of feminism. No, the Civil Rights Act came from Black men, the death of Black men, okay? Black men martyring themselves for the cause, okay? You know, and I'm not trying to discount the Black women who were killed. I'm really not. But what I am saying is movements that really got pushed, yes, it was with the help of Black women for sure. I'm not discounting it, but the Black men were in the lead, is what I will say. And then when it comes to the conditions of, you know, slavery, okay, and Jim Crow and Reconstruction era, the conditions, the brunt of the negativity was faced by Black men, okay? You didn't have stories like Emmett Till coming, you know, that were about Black women like that. I mean, you did have some where Black women may have been falsely accused of stealing and, you know, whatever. The slave master did this, that, and the third. I'm sure you could find some of those out here everywhere. But when it comes to who took the brunt of the beatings, the brunt of the torment, the brunt of the psychological damage, it was definitely Black men.
the roles are not exchanged. So therefore,
Yeah, shout out to Black Ken. He said we got castrated, hung, murdered with no recourse, Emmett Till type shit. Yes, absolutely. Male Monkey said, how about the most overweight population group? Oh, wow. Tattoos are cutting for adults. Are cutting. Oh, cutting. I see what you're saying.
we're standing.
I don't know, bro. I mean, I think the ink looks hard, honestly. Like, I think it makes you look like a fucking badass. But there is an OD to the tattoos, like face tattoos. No, I don't advise neck tattoos as well. You know, I probably would get some more ink. Like, I'm not gonna do my stomach because I like the way my abs look, but I'm probably gonna get some ink on my calves. I'm never gonna go above the knee. Probably get some ink on my calves. Probably get some on my arms. I don't know if I'm gonna fill my arm. No, I'm probably not gonna fill my arm up, but I might have like a bicep shoulder tat, and then another forearm tat on the left forearm. And then I got that chest tattoo. I fuck with tattoos. I ain't gonna cap. Let's see. He said, and we had to fight in the wars. Yeah, we did have to fight in the wars. Yes, absolutely. And we were segregated in the U.S. military. We were treated like second-class citizens in the U.S. military. We were not respected for laying down our lives. And a lot of black men were promised things for fighting in the Civil War that we did not receive, like the 40 acres and a mule type shit. And you know, fighting in the world wars, the First World War, Second World War, and even the Vietnam War, black men laid down their lives and went overseas to fight a war and came back to nothing and benefits that all this VA loan shit and a lot of black men were not able to take advantage of that until, I mean, let's keep it a buck, until like the 80s in you know, early 2000s, really. Because a lot of black men in the Vietnam War or who fought in the Vietnam and you know, the world wars, the boomer generation of black men, these brothers, they weren't getting shit. Honestly, they were not getting shit. They was coming back home and they was getting shitted on, and they still had to go into, you know, drink from the colored falcons or fountains, and they still had to you know, go to the colored restaurants and all that shit. So a lot of black men were not being treated fairly coming back after making the ultimate sacrifice.
Standing alone. And so black men are not standing in the paint like we stood in the paint for them. So now we look solo, we look alone, and we look masculine, and don't nobody want to.
I don't see what she means by black men ain't standing in the paint, because I mean, we just looked at the demographics. Okay, they're not, even though there are a lot of unproductive black men and a lot of them are the younger generation, they're still not out earning us. Even guys who did bids and come back and then get a trucking business, they're not out earning those guys, because those guys fucking work hard. You know, if they're able to jumpstart their life again after catching a charge, these guys know that, hey, you only got one shot.
Deal with that, because don't no man want to be with a man. Well, some men, I stand corrected. Some men do want to be with men. But however, if a man is heterosexual, he wants to be with a woman.
Right.
And most of us are not. We don't stand in that energy. We're not feminine.
Do you see how you disagree with her? She was saying that it was all fabricated on social media.
No, it's not.
You're
fabricated.
saying that black women are masculine.
No, yeah, it's breeding. It's epigenetics.
Okay, so she's finna go into epigenetics. Epigenetics is the idea that past traumas are passed down in your DNA. Like, so basically the experience of your parents are passed down into your DNA, which I wholeheartedly reject. Okay, just because your parents did something, it has no real effect on what you are going to do, given you know, all things are equal and you have a normal upbringing. Okay, like if your parent was like a mass murderer and then, you know, just one day he switched off and he just became a good guy and he raised you good and you never knew of his past, and then maybe when you became 18 years old you learned of his past, it's not going to affect the way that you move and your behavior. Yeah, it might be a shock that you learn of it, but if you never had learned of it, then it would not affect the way that you move. So the idea of epigenetics is that, like, pass down trauma from the experience of your ancestors, which I mean that's some, like, goddamn, I got a fucking gnat in my face. That's some like voodoo shit, honestly, because honestly, I have no clue what happened to my ancestors. And I know for a fact that my granddaddy picked cotton. I know that his mother picked cotton. I know that, you know, they probably were indentured servants. They were not necessarily slaves, but then their grandparents, you know, likely were slaves. Now, I don't know if they had a good slave master, quote unquote, right? But a less violent slave master, a more reasonable, logical slave master, or if they had a violent one. I don't know, but it doesn't affect my behavior now. Okay.
Epigenetics.
Okay,
It's-
but
it's
you understand the
because we
disagreement.
were-
You're nodding, but you guys disagree. You're
No.
saying that it's all social media. You're saying black women are inherently
It's,
masculine.
it's epigenetics.
Okay.
We were born in an environment where we had to fight, not only for ourselves, but we had to fight for our men. Because at one point, they were being
Raped.
attacked.
Discriminated.
They were being
Exactly.
attacked.
Okay, and let's keep it a buck. I mean, yes, some black men were being raped, but I mean that was more of y'all getting raped. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, now I'm just keeping a buck. If we want a real historical context, like, you know, that was more of y'all getting raped, and most of it. I mean, unfortunately, most of it was statutory. So, you know, and this is it's very weird. I mean, very sad to say, but there were slave masters who would take on a lot younger women, like between the ages of, I mean, 12 and 12 and up type shit. Like, look at Thomas Jefferson, okay, and Sally Heming. I mean, he had a relationship with a 12 to 14-year-old young girl, and I mean, that's statutory rape. It could have been. Oh, okay. So here's the thing. I actually got in a debate with ChatGPT about this because they didn't want to say that it was great, because obviously Thomas Jefferson is the founding father, but they didn't want to say it was great when he was dealing with her, and I was saying, it was statutory rape, and ChatGPT just did not want to admit it, which was funny, but. The crazy thing is she was too young to give consent. And by today's standard, that would be statutory rape. So what I am saying is, although she could have, like, I mean, this is going to sound really effed up, right? She could have been down with it theoretically. Like, okay, let me just get in Buddy's good graces, even though there's no way it could have really genuinely been consensual because she is a minor. But if she was like, quote unquote, like he's a minor attracted person and she's a minor. And I mean, this is the type of shit that they're trying to push in Cali. But if it's a situation like that, then I mean, it sucks. It's fucked up. It's horrible. But I mean, what would you rather do? You know? I mean, it sounds fucked up, but I mean, what would you rather do if, as you're a woman, fuck the slave master or work in the cotton fields, 12, 20-hour shifts? I mean, it's a it's a toss up. It's fucked up, but I'm just saying the men had it worse. That's my whole point. Okay, I'm not trying to minimize what black women went through, but we also need to acknowledge that there's levels to this shit. We have the Duke who joined onto the panel. What's good?
Yo, what's good? What's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, what's good, man? Yeah, I've been listening in. I came across you on Twitter, so I was like, you know what? Let me check out his content. You seem to be very well informed, so I like to see that. Overall, it seems as I came off a bit, and now it seems that we're going back into history when it comes to like interracial relationships. Is that where you're going now with it?
No, we're not talking about
With black
interracial
women?
relationships. We're talking about why black women are the least desired on dating apps specifically. And, you can extrapolate and say, hey, that might even translate into the real world. So that's the question. That's the question that these women are answering. Now, she brought up antebellum slavery, and she brought up the discrimination that black people in general have faced. And she said the reason why black women are masculine is because it has been epigenetically ingrained into our DNA or their DNA, because they have had to fight for black men during slavery and the civil rights era so much that they have taken on masculine traits because they've had to fight for black men, and they feel like black men are not fighting for them.
Right. Well, that seems like a great opinion to have. I've heard that before. I'm from the UK, and I've kind of observed these reasons.
So are
And
you born
coming
and
from
raised in the UK,
right.
brother?
Yeah, born and raised in the UK.
African descent?
Ethnically Nigerian. Yes.
Nigerian.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Right. And when it comes to that, informational excuse. What I come across is that, you know, the black women in Europe act in similar ways to what,
Yes.
you know, we see in America. So
Yes.
if you're going to, you know, stem it to antebellum slavery, I understand the cultural ingrained behaviors, but I don't think that's a very um solid link to why black women act a certain way in the West.
Yeah, so
I
that's
just
actually a
generally
great
think, yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna say
go on.
that's actually a great point. You are in the UK, and I know that everybody has the thing. One of the reasons why Just Pearly Things has blown up is because she's in the UK, and the women are acting the same way that they are
The
in the
exact
US.
same way.
White women and black women, like the white women, kind of act ditzy and you know, non-committal, and they can't
Right.
really like stand on any opinion. And the black women are just like very masculine. They're like, you know, they have that hip hop culture ingrained into them. They're dating what they call in the UK roadmen, wastemen, guys who are in the streets, who are stabbing people up,
Same thing.
selling dope and shit like that. They're literally doing the same thing that black women in America are doing in the UK. Now, my question is to you: do you think that black women in the UK are taking the lead from black women in the US?
I won't even. That's the thing. If we start putting the blame on Americans, then we take away the accountability that comes from our own upbringing.
Mhm.
You know, living in Europe, having an African background, many have Caribbean background. It's actually a general Western attitude to dating, or
Mhm.
just being a man or woman in the West. What I've noticed is that when it comes to the white community, they pioneered, you know, the liberal feminist agenda, but then
Yes.
at home, that's a completely different story. But when it comes to what you see on Pearl's show, I've watched it a few times. It's very clear that there's this, oh, we need to break down the idea of the man who leads the family, this idea of
Yes.
traditional values. They would then blame the West that, oh, the West imposed this patriarchy on us. But I come
Mhm.
from a culture thousands of years long where the men were always leading the house as well. But there's this need to change that because we want to modernize everything. And that's what's
Yeah.
affecting the community. I'm glad you guys can witness that on Pearl's show. It's the exact same problem we have. So it's not just, oh, back to antebellum slavery. You know,
Mhm.
Americans have their own struggle. But if you see the same traits that, you know, black American men are complaining about with our women
Mhm.
too, then we can forget about that link to history. We have to protect our men, so we have to behave masculine. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's an
And,
excuse.
and
So
you
I,
see
I
the
like how
same.
you carry this.
Yeah, hey, appreciate it. And you see the same thing on King Rich's show, where I mean, he's a real masculine guy, brawny guy. I mean, he's what? I mean, he's probably 5'11, 215, 220 pounds, right? He's a big guy. I mean, we would equate him to like a linebacker in the United States. Like he's got that type of size, that type of commanding presence. And even, you know, on his show, the black women get you know, snappy with him, even though he's a guy who can, not saying that he would ever do something like this, but he can inflict massive massive injuries on anybody, let alone a woman. But you still see the women being combative and masculine and bucking up to him, not just black women but white women alike. There was an episode where there was like a 50-year-old woman spazzed on him, like she was talking about, like she was talking like she was Lucky Luciani, and she was going to sick somebody on him or something like that. And it was just, it's just crazy because you have the same type of attitudes in the UK that you have in the States.
Facts. You know, I'm glad you brought up King Richards, because, you know, kind of your content kind of similar. You know, I'm glad to see there's a different version of that in America. You guys are doing good. What I've noticed is that, yeah, regardless of race, we have modern women. So, you know, we see this narrative, this sort of conversation being brought up that is, forget race. Whoever is adapting to this sort of modern way of thinking about relationships, you know, women carrying this regardless of where they're from, they're the ones changing, but it's more prominent in the black community, in the black American community, black, Canadian or Europe, you hear the same agenda. I think it's simply because the black man is not in power, right? You've got the white man
Yeah.
who leads the Western world and has all the power. So there's this need to dignify the white man, and then the black man is like, why should I submit to you? I don't know if you saw a video. There's this video of this young black girl, saying, why should I submit to the black man? He was the slave. I would rather submit to the slave master. That is
Wow.
her speaking out loud. She's not meant to be saying that. That's
Was
like
she
a
from the US or the
subconscious-
UK?
She's from the US. She's from the US. I might find the link and share it on the chat, but she's from
Okay,
the US,
sure.
and she was basically arguing against, why should I, a black girl, submit to black men? I prefer white
Yeah.
men. I would rather be feminine to a certain race of men than my own. So then you
Yeah, but
start
I
to
mean,
think.
right. And the thing is, unless she's like super hot, she's probably not going to get with like a high earning, competent like white guy.
Nah, that's a dream. That's the diverse movement.
Yeah.
That's the
I mean,
dream.
it really is. The reality is, like, black men are the most attracted to black women. Like, one time, I remember in high school, I went to this all white school, and like, it was a whole, I mean, shit, it's pretty much all white boys, white girls, whatever. And there was like, I think 17 black people in the whole school. And there was this white dude. He was like one of my friends too. And we were just talking about girls, whatever. And he was like, yeah, I would never like fuck with it. And he could be just a one-off, but I'm just kind of giving you guys like a perspective of as to why he said he didn't want to. And it was kind of a stupid reason anyway, but it just goes to show that, I mean, the level of attraction is just not there. One thing that he said, which didn't even make sense to me, he said, black women have greasy pussies. That's what he said. And I'm like, isn't it supposed to be wet? And he said, I would never date a black woman because she got greasy pussy. But he said he'll make an exception for Rihanna. So I'm like, okay, if she's hot enough, you'd fuck with her, greasy pussy or not. But I was trying to figure out, what does greasy pussy mean? Because isn't it supposed to be wet? And I was trying to rationalize that in my head. I mean, yeah, and that's what he said. And he was my friend and all shit. But it was just like kind of funny to hear his perspective. But that's literally what he said. So, and honestly, I don't even know what the fuck that means. But what it goes to show is that to him, it was just naturally he found some excuse. Maybe he watched a porno where he thought the pussy was getting too wet. I don't know what it was, but he had this kind of preconceived notion in his head that black women had greasy pussies, and I mean, I don't know what he meant by that.
Let me add to that, because you mentioned one perspective from a white male friend. I've spoken to several of my white male friends when we have this discussion on race and dating, and it's a mixed bag. It's not like they're all unattracted to them.
Yeah, for
I've
sure.
spoken to there's this white guy I know 2 months ago. He told me, he dated one black girl once and he was attracted to her, so that was okay. It was just her attitude was too much for him. So again, they can have reasons that sound like our reasons too. And men in general don't want masculine or women who emasculate the men they're with. Apparently she was snapping her fingers at him. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Like, why would, like, if you're gonna date out, as a black woman, you shouldn't reinforce the stereotypes that that's been imposed on you.
Right. It's like,
that needs to change.
Yeah, like it's like when black men date out, like we know that, okay, going to the black cookout, it's gonna be different from going to the white cookout. Like going to 4th of July at the black cookout is different from going to the white cookout. Okay. So if you're dating out, you know that, hey, I'm not gonna pull up to the white cookout and just be rolling up a blunt and smoking by the grill. No, that I'm gonna save that for the black cookout, because that's just like what we do, you know what I'm saying? But it's a different vibe, and you kind of have to adapt to that vibe when you're in different cultures. Right. And like they say, when you're in Rome, do as the Romans do. that's what you have to do. But if you're bringing that attitude to an interracial relationship, it's never going to work. Okay. So, and I think that a lot of sisters, they think that they can just, oh, he's going to accept me as I am. Oh, he likes me. And a lot of sisters kind of lean into the stereotypes. Oh yeah, he likes me because I tell him about himself. He likes me because I am more, a matter of fact, outspoken, outspoken and more masculine and whatnot, and more accomplished and more intimidating. Like, he likes me because of that. And a lot of the white guys, they're just trying, like, once they get in that situation, they they can't really get out of that situation without completely being called a racist.
Right.
So
Now,
like, if he starts seeing these tendencies and then he wants out, when he wants out, like, she's immediately going to go to race baiting.
Facts. Now, one thing, like, in general, this topic on black women, the least desired race of women, I think even these articles that bring this up, they should really emphasize, are they the least desired in the West among predominantly white men? Because if you had a sample size, I saw you putting up data, which is important. Some people just read a headline and just go with it. But if you had a sample size of just black men and then ask them to pick what type of women they prefer, majority of the time they will say the black women in the list are the most desirable in their mind. Of course,
to black men,
exceptions for to black men, right? And that sample could be used as data to say, oh, look, black women are desired. But in general, we know that if this data is based on the USA, where predominantly white men, you are more likely, and non-black men, you're more likely to get votes sort of towards non-black women.
So here's the data. How many users are currently using OkCupid? This comes from OkCupid, so I mean, it is what it is. Is it a reflection of like our generation? Maybe like on the brink of it, but I don't know many people in my generation who use OkCupid. But they do have 50.
I was gonna ask that real quick. I come across OkCupid.
I think that's the older generation.
Right. And it's weird because they're still using that data when they should use, I don't know, Tinder or Hinge. What's more?
Yeah, they have Tinder data too. But like, let's just get into this one. They do have 50 million global users, so that is a lot, and they have 1.79 million users in September 2019, ranking 5th among dating apps in the United States. So they are ranked the 5th dating app in the United States, which pretty much gives us a pretty ample sample size. So 9% of U.S. adults are currently using OkCupid. Wow. And you have over 350 million U.S. citizens. 50 million people globally were using OkCupid in 2020. OkCupid had 23.4% decrease in monthly active users in the final quarter of 2020 during the CV pandemonium. Demographics of OkCupid users. So we have 11% of let's see, male adults currently use OkCupid in the US. So 11% of male adults, 6% of female adults use OkCupid. And then we have the most plentiful age demographic is between the ages of 18 and 29. This is the age demographic that I focus on, that we talk about. So the most people on here are Gen Z people. It's not even the older people. It's millennials are at 10% or 9%. Generation X is at 8%. And then the boomers are at like 1%. But Generation Z is at 18% of usage of the app, or of the users. All right. So on OkCupid, it's only 7% of the users are white, 17% are Hispanic, and 17% are African American. So the majority of people who use OkCupid are black and brown. Wow. So that is pivotal. Okay. And by income, people, only 8% of people under 50, making under 50,000 use it. So 10% make between 50 to 100K, and 11% make over 100K. And these are the users on. So OkCupid, these are Malcolms. The men on OkCupid are Malcolms, mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men. Okay, so that is, I mean, you have a very lucrative demographic who use OkCupid, men who are earning a great deal of money. Okay, a great deal of money, and these men are black and brown and other, and majority of them are not white Americans. So that is stunning when it comes to the data. Now let's look at some more of this. 11% of male adults and 6% of female adults currently use OkCupid in the U.S. There are 1.5 men for every woman on OkCupid. Okay, so I mean that's decent ratio compared to Tinder, where it's like 6-1 or some shit. Ages of U.S. adults that use OkCupid. So we got that broken down. That was that chart that they just showed us. Let's get into the demographics. Let's see. Damn, they got all these fact sheets. Let's see if I can just search it. Okay, here we go. Wow. Okay. Dating bias of OkCupid users and how it affects the reply rates. Do biases against other skin colors or racial backgrounds impact who people date? Dating bias of OkCupid users and how it affects the reply rates. So 38% of OkCupid users strongly prefer to date someone of their own skin color / racial background. 38% of OkCupid users, okay, so that's what I just read. 54% of white females prefer to date someone of their own skin color or racial background. So they say, oh, white women don't want y'all, white women don't want y'all. Yes, the majority of white women prefer to date people of their own racial background, but you do see that 46% on OkCupid, at least, who are open to dating IR. The highest in all groups. Yeah. 45% of white people prefer to date someone of their own skin color or racial background. Just 20% of non-whites think the same. Okay. So you have 20% of non-whites who are open to dating IR or are open to, are not open to dating IR rather. So that means that people of color are more open to dating IR. Men frequently don't message black women back. Wow. That was literally a conclusion from the data. And this was archived this is from the OkCupid archives in 2009. So it says black women have an average reply rate of just 34.3% from male recipients. Okay. So it says white guys respond less overall. Okay. So it looks like white guys are having their pick of the litter and they have more options. Therefore, they're not replying. The average reply rate of non-white males is 48%, while white guys is only 40%. So basically, white men write back about 20% less often. OkCupid's reply rate of female senders to male recipients by race. Okay. So this is female senders to male recipients by race. So Asian reply rates of Asian female senders. Okay, so Asian men reply to Asian females 48% of the time. Black men reply to Asian females 55% of the time. Hispanic men reply to Asian females 49% of the time. Indian men reply to Asian females 50% of the time. Middle Eastern 53%, Native American 49%, other men 50%. Pacific Islanders 46%, and white men 41%. So the average is 43.7% reply rate of Asian female senders to male recipients. Okay, now we have black female. So compare Asian to black, and then black to other races, and then that's where you get the conclusion that hey, they are the quote unquote least desired. Black female reply rates of black female senders to Asian men. So Asian men reply 31% of the time to black women. Black men reply 37% of the time to black women. Hispanic or Latina men reply 36% of the time to black women. Indian men reply at the same rate as black men. Get this, guys. Indian men reply at the same rate of black men to black women on OkCupid. Middle Eastern men reply at a higher rate, which is 40%. So that's why you do have a lot of sisters going over to Dubai to get shitted on. That's, I mean, Middle Eastern men, as you can see from the OkCupid data, definitely like black women more than other races of men. Native American men as well. Other men who don't classify in these demographics. So I would say probably mixed race as well. Pacific Islander men, 32%, and white men reply at 32%. So their average reply rate is 34.3%. And the average reply rate of Latina women is 42.5%. Rivaling rather Asian women. And let's see, Indian women also have a 42.7%, which trumps Latina women. So Indian women are more desired than Latina women, but Asian women are more desired by them all. Okay. Oh, wow. Actually, Middle Eastern females, it shows. Wow. So Middle Eastern females are damn near, they have 49.5% the reply rate. So they are the most desired out of all the females. And I ain't gonna cap, the Middle Eastern bitches be bad. Okay. Native American females, 42%. Other females, 44%. Pacific Islanders, 46%. So they up there too. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. And white females are 42%. Wow. So the most desired race are Pacific Islanders and Middle Eastern women. And why do you think that is? Because Middle Eastern women are more feminine. They cover up. I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer, honestly. So unfortunately, the sisters are the least desired demographic. But you know, it is what it is. Asian men, as you can see, Asian men are 22%. They have a 22% response rate, which is pretty bad. But it says that black men have a 21% reply rate. Okay, so it looks like we are the least desired according to this OkCupid data. Compared to Asian men. Then you have Latina men. I mean, but men, you know, barely get replies anyway. Latina men get a reply rate of 23%. Indian men a reply rate of 20%. So actually, Indian men are least desired so far. Let's see. Middle Eastern men get a 25% reply rate. So that's the highest so far. Native American, 27. So they are the new highest. Other males, which are mixed race men, 26. So they are rivaling Native American. And I think it's because they're brown, like brown, golden brown tone. I think that's very attractive to a lot of the women. Pacific Islanders, 24%. White men, 29%. So white men are the most desired out of all of the men. Yeah. So there you have it, guys. There you have it. The data has spoken, and this is statistics compiling from between 2009 to 2020, or I think even data as late as 2022, if I'm not mistaken. But that's the data right there. Shout out to Keith with the 1999 Super Trap.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Wow. So, I mean, there goes the data right there. So, I mean, it looks like the data has spoken. But it looks like black men are close to last when it comes to desirability on OkCupid. You know, right next to Indian men and then slightly below Asian men. So that's something that I didn't figure. But then, you know, it really kind of throws you for a loop because the demographics on OkCupid are very multicultural, and they don't even have as many white people as they have others or black and brown. But, you know, it looks like the white men are still the most desired, and the black and brown men are, and the yellow man, you know, can't forget the Asians, are still, you know, least desired. And all the reply rates pretty much were below 30% anyway, because as we know, men rarely get replies. So that just shows you, out of 10 women that you match with on OkCupid, you'll probably only get replies from 2.
Demasculated.
As a black man. As a white man, 3.
Did someone just say?
All right, can we let her finish her point before you guys?
Right.
Okay, so you're saying that?
Yeah, and so we had the ability to fight for them because we were women, and people respected women. And now,
actually, that's a damn lie. I mean, y'all weren't even allowed to have bank accounts. I mean, all the feminists say, "Oh, we weren't allowed to have bank accounts." Yeah, you weren't allowed to have bank accounts till the 70s. So, like, people respected black men, even, you know, over black women in that day and age. It's just that, you know, the disrespect was in a different way, if you would. Let's keep it a buck. The feminist movement in the early in the early 20th century rode off of the coattails of the civil rights movement, which was spearheaded by black men.
now that the roles have changed.
When?
Years ago, generations ago. None of us was born when this started.
Okay.
So now that
let me make sure I boil this down to a concise point that people can
Yeah.
understand. Tell me if I'm summarizing this correctly.
Please.
What you're saying is that women are masculine now as a
Yeah.
byproduct of fighting alongside their men during the civil rights era.
epigenetics.
Did what I say?
Yes, correct. But
So
I'm
that's what
giving
you're
you
saying.
the actual.
Okay, so but that's what it is. Basically, fighting alongside.
Which there, I mean, epigenetics is just theory. It's not scientific fact. Okay. It's not a law.
Black men during the civil rights era is what masculinized women that are African American.
Correct.
And you think that is the reason why that men don't swipe right on them, because they're masculine.
That's not
from
the
fighting for
reason.
black men.
No, what did it started that way, right? So we started raising kids, little girls, to be stronger, and we
Okay.
wasn't raising them in that feminine
Remember,
energy.
he asked you what makes
Yes,
guys not swipe
I'm-
right.
I'm being- that's what I'm saying.
You're saying
So,
they're
yes.
masculine, and
She's
then
just
you're
breaking
giving
down
a reason
why.
that they're masculine because of fighting alongside men during the civil rights era. Correct.
Not just during civil
Okay.
rights era. Not
It's
just
been
during it's
generations.
way before civil
Can
rights.
you wait
era.
until we get to you?
Okay.
She's speaking, right? It's her turn.
It is, but you said civil rights. She didn't said nothing about civil rights era.
You're summarizing it
It's way before civil rights
for
era.
for the audience,
Look,
basically.
whether you want to go all the way back to slavery or whatever, regardless, it's fighting for freedom.
Exactly.
That's what it is. I'm using the civil rights era because that was the last big event, I would say.
Freedom.
Right? So
It's a big event.
I
right
wouldn't
now.
say we were fighting for freedom. We were just fighting for the
Civil
head of our
rights.
household, right? Because at the end of the
I'm
day,
talking about black people in general in that sense when I'm talking about
Okay.
civil rights.
Okay, yeah, then that's fine.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
No. So that's pretty much how it happened. Oh, and then wait. So are we only talking about African American women, or
Yes.
because we also brought up Asians?
No,
Asian men.
he's gonna cover that.
Only you?
Yeah, we can talk about that
He's
afterwards.
the only
It's not
Asian
that hard.
man.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Through this first
It's
part
not that hard to
first.
diagnose. Like, it's just quickly, like, why do you think it's the lowest amount? I can sum
Right.
it up in 3 seconds. Like, Asian men are emasculated in the West, and women want men who are masculine.
And
so they're not gonna, and so you can say the same thing. Like, I can instead
Yeah.
of bringing up like epigenetics and all this stuff, you could say black women are masculine, men want
Yeah.
feminine women. We are not that.
Right.
That simple. But
Yeah,
you know,
she
you
gave the whole reasoning behind it, but I had to bring it back full circle. So why? Okay. What about you?
I think it just boils down to the men who are on these dating apps have just had a bad experience at one point in their life with a particular black woman. Unfortunately, that one bad experience has made him feel like all black women are this way. But as you know, I mean, anybody in this, I don't know if you guys have dated outside your race or anything like that, but all black women aren't the same. I lived in Miami a very long time, and I watch even the clubs treat the certain black women.
And that is true. You know, all black women are not the same, but it really is difficult to find, like, one, she's bad. 2, she's like not ingrained in the city girl culture. 3, she doesn't have a lot of bodies. 4, she wears her natural hair. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we're asking for. 5, she She fucks with a Malcolm, a mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man, not a Pookie and Ray Ray.
The same way, and it's either brown skin or light skin, and that's a whole nother conversation. But when you're red bone and you live in Miami and you're not treated the same way as if a dark skinned black woman, you know what I'm saying? So on these apps, you don't know if she's loud, you don't know if she's ghetto, you don't know.
I mean, you could tell by the pictures. Come on. If she's like bent over in the picture, like with her phone in between her legs, like doing the Ice Spice, you're gonna completely conclude that, hey, I mean, have y'all even seen some of these women dating profiles? Like some of them are just taking the most ratchet pictures. You know, the bitch got a phone from 2008. She taking a selfie with a BlackBerry. I mean, that's ratchet as fuck.
She's uneducated. You don't know any of these things. You just going off of the experience you had prior to that. And so that's why you're swiping. And I know I'm not an Asian man, but if I had to just go off of if I was on a dating app and saw an Asian man, I don't know whether he got a big dick or not. So a lot of women are probably swiping because they go off of the stigma.
Yeah.
Just like the bad black woman, the stigma about an Asian man is that he ain't packing. Now, I'm not saying that's not true.
Yeah, shout out to Distant Lights. He said, remember, too, OkCupid came out before Tinder. Yeah. He says Lebanese and Persian girls are definitely something. Also, a lot of different types of empires have been doing their thing in the Middle East. Lots of genetic diversity. True. Distant Light says this OkCupid survey was blackpilling for me. Yeah, it is.
True, because I fucked Asian men with big dicks. So that's not true. But
okay, she has a boyfriend and she's literally saying, oh, well, I fucked Asian men with big dicks. I mean, that's crazy.
Swiping because you're like, I don't know. The same way you're swiping right on the black woman. You're like, I don't know, and I don't want to take the risk.
Do you think you're masculine?
Very well put.
I think that I'm an aggressive.
She's definitely masculine.
Alpha female, but I'm very feminine when it counts, and that means within my relationship. Like I'm with a man who allows me to be in my femininity. So I don't have to take charge. I don't have to lead. I don't have to make certain decisions. Where in the work world or in the corporate world or in the entertainment business, I have to put on I wouldn't call it manly because there's nothing manly about me. I would call it assertive.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a masculine trait.
Those are all
masculine traits.
Aggressive, alpha. That's pretty much what a masculine man
So
is.
which one would you want to hear? When you're in the work world, in the corporate world, yes, I do understand a woman having to stand for herself because men will walk all over you. But when it comes to the bedroom, when it comes to you being in a relationship, no, I don't think that you should be masculine. You should definitely be as much feminine as possible. But that pertains on the woman.
Would you date a man who's feminine presenting in the workplace, but then in bed he's dominant? So if I was dating you and I'm always feminine and I'm wearing high heels and I'm outside in public being girly and stuff like that, and then I come home to you and I'm masculine, would you still respect me?
No, but that's not the same example because that would mean hold on, give me a second. That would mean that I'm dressing like a dude and thinking I have a dick or thinking that I think like a man or I know what a man thinks.
Thinking like a man.
No, you're saying that. I don't think I think like a man at all. I'm just telling you my thought process of why someone would swipe right on a black female, and it's because only thing I could think of is his past experience. He's been going off of his past experience. Why else would you swipe right?
Okay, instead of this, so you're in the workplace, you're assertive, you're alpha, you have to navigate around men, you're having to embrace a lot of masculine qualities. I'm asking, would you be with a man who you come home to, you say, honey, I'm home, and your husband is wearing an apron and he's baking muffins, and then he kisses you on the cheek.
What's wrong with that?
And would you be attracted to that?
Absolutely. There's no gender roles in my household.
Stop the cap.
What do you mean? Is he wearing an apron and there's a hard dick underneath it
There's
for me to
clearly
suck?
gender roles. Hold on. Stop. Hold on. There's clearly gender roles if you submit to your man, like you just said a second ago.
When I say there's no gender roles, I mean in the pretense of we're not debating like, oh, this is a woman's job to wash dishes. This is a woman's job to put on an apron and cook dinner. If he wants to wear the apron because he's trying to be, I don't know, freaky and want me to suck the dick under it, I'm cool with that.
What the fuck?
Realistically speaking, probably not.
I mean, not in a
Probably not.
no.
I would never want a woman who say dick that hard to suck my dick.
See,
No.
You're talking about role play. I'm saying that is his life.
That's who he is.
No, I wouldn't be okay
Because that's
with
how
that.
you are.
I
You're masculine presenting in your life.
Yes, because I'm the head of the board at a lot of places. I'm running my business. I'm the one who's making all the hard decisions. I'm paying the bills. I'm paying employees. So
You're being
this
the man.
Why is me being the boss have to equate with being the man?
Why can't it just
why is me making financial decisions or making, I don't know, life-changing or business decisions equate to me being a man?
Yes, because to run a business efficiently as a boss, you have to have masculine traits. It's
Right.
funny how you said I'm alpha, I'm dominant, I'm assertive, etc., aggressive. These are all masculine traits, whether you want to accept it or not.
Right, but also
so that makes you masculine.
But yes, okay, I'm gonna accept that because yes, that is what it is. But you have to agree. Also, as a woman, you have to play the part of. There's moments where you're aggressive, but I work with men where you can't be that girl. They got to be attracted to you. If you understand how the world works, pretty privileged.
Yeah.
Men are nice.
Yeah.
Men are nice to women that they are attracted to, that don't take things too serious, that understand like, yeah, no, don't flirt and get out of hand and make me feel weird, but I can flirt with you without you thinking that I'm trying to fuck you.
Yeah, so I mean, they all made some valid points. We're not gonna break down the whole video because that shit long as hell. But I did want to kind of tackle this topic and speak to the data and whatnot when it comes to the OkCupid shit, and then we could probably break down some other dating apps as well in the future. But I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy, Reclaim Your Throne. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Send your relationship questions to the email down below with a screenshot of your Cash App. So I know you pay your ties, man. Y'all need to be on your marketing team with the BS. You already know. Reclaim Your Throne.
Want to become an elite level athlete? Well, look no further. The Reclaim Your Throne Elite D1 training course is all you need to take your performance from subpar to the creme de la creme of athletes all around the world. The purpose of this course is to give you a comprehensive weight training, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance program that is meant to prepare young athletes for collegiate and professional sports. This course is packed with over 2 hours of creative, action-packed lifts narrated and coached by yours truly to assure increased strength, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance. Hey, I get it. Training alone can be tough and can even make you feel misguided or somewhat unmotivated. But with this course, I walk you step by step through each and every lift to make sure you're using the proper form to prevent injuries and that you're hitting the correct muscle groups to render maximum results. So what are you waiting for? It's now or never. So go ahead and get the training course today so you too can reclaim your throne.